comment cards if you wish to speak to us on, I normally say any item not on the agenda, but today anything's fair item. So Julie Nelson. Good morning.
Madam Chair, Supervisors, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Julie Nelson, and I am a resident of Pittsburgh, and I am speaking today on behalf of myself in support of implementing a no-kill policy at the Contra Costa Animal Shelter. I value Contra Costa's current efforts to house, feed, care for, and adopt out stray or abandoned companion animals, but I think we can do better. No-kill is not an easy policy to implement. It requires creativity, marketing, sales skills, photographers, groomers, behaviorists, veterinarians, volunteers, hope, and vision. But it is worth it. We have seen such policies succeed throughout the nation. The difference is that in those places, the decision has been made that the lives of all companion animals are worth saving. Once that decision has been made, implementation techniques are easier to envision and to enact. Working on changing the public's perception of which animals deserve to live begins with changing our own. With proper care and training, no companion animal, regardless of breed, age, or other so-called undesirable characteristics, such as a chronic physical challenge, deserves to die. I offer today not only my words and my encouragement, but also my experience, my education, my time on a volunteer basis in order to help the county implement such a change. I can work as a volunteer in project management, marketing, evaluation or survey research, statistical analysis, or even just cleaning out cages. I asked you to consider a no-kill policy in the names of all companion animals who have needlessly lost their lives.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. And if you haven't already, we do have a volunteer services coordinator at the animal shelter. I would encourage you to give them a call. I'm sure they'd love to hear from you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Our next speaker is Tom Cushing.
Good morning. My name's Tom Cushing. I'm a longtime resident of Contra Costa. I'd like to thank you first and foremost for your heartfelt responses to the many comments that were made last week. I have a few thoughts that I'd like to add. First, Supervisor Pifo, I am acutely sorry for your loss. I recently bid farewell to one of my life's great dogs after 16 years. He was a veteran of Contra Costa ASD. I'm grateful for every day of our lives together and for the fact that euthanasia was available to us when we all needed it. Your and my shared experience demonstrates the depth of commitment that we have with our companion animals, what they mean to us as people. We tend to look at the shelter in terms of animal lives, but what of the human impacts, the deep bonds, and the many ways that those creatures enrich our lives? Most shelter killing is not euthanasia, it's lost opportunity. In the gap between 65% and 90% save rates, we lose almost 3,000 chances every year to benefit the people of our county. In much the same way that you and I have been blessed by our companion animals, that gap can be closed as 250 communities around the country of all kinds have done. I don't have time to bore you with stats, although I'd love to. There's just one quick example. I met Molly at the Martinez shelter in 2008. She was in the back of the shelter. Her coat had been decimated by a flea infestation. She was basically put there to wait out her hold period because who would adopt an animal in that condition? I did pull her and Milo, her companion in crime, the crime of choosing the wrong owner. 3 months later, she looked like this, and she was adopted into a family in San Lorenzo. Milo and Molly were lucky. They shouldn't have to be. A broad-based fostering program can buy them the time they need without breaking the care and feeding budget. Outreach and activism don't cost a lot these days, and they are keys to achieving better sheltering success for the animals and for the people of our county. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cushing, and thank you for taking care of Molly. And I think Supervisor Pifo may have an announcement to add to her family.
Yeah, well, first of all, I don't know if I need to apologize, but I really didn't mean to have such a showing last week, but our hearts are still broken. But we did find
Believe me.
another little baby to bring home and fill our hearts with love and joy. So now we're in the middle of potty training and teething and all these other things that puppies bring. But we have a new little girl at home called Willow.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Actually, she came from West County, if my colleagues are interested in that.
Stephanie Buzzard or Buzzard? Buzzard, okay. I bet you get teased about that a lot.
It's my married name, so I didn't grow up with the last name. Yes, I am Stephanie Buzzard. I was born and raised in Concord. And I'd like to speak to you on a topic that several others touched on last week, and that is the current and ongoing attempts to squelch free expression, using intimidation and retaliation to silence or refuse service to those who see things the shelter wants kept quiet, questioning volunteers about private donations and support for shelter reform, and firing volunteers who speak out for reform. These are not isolated incidents. There is a pattern going on here, and it exposes the county to liability. But more importantly, it gets in the way of what we're trying to do. I believe that in order to save animals' lives, those animals in the shelters need for people to do two different things. First, directly take animals out of harm's way through rescue, and second, to reform shelters through political advocacy. Yet how can this be done when shelters are kicking out the very people who are most capable of saving the companion animals that need them? Rescuers, volunteers, and advocates are protected by Section 1983 as it pertains to our First Amendment right to freedom of speech, the right to complain, to advocate for reform, and to demand abuses be addressed without injury or the loss of governmental benefit or privilege, including volunteering and rescuing. There are good, honest, and compassionate people working as shelter volunteers. Not only that, but there are staff members with those same noble traits and genuine intentions, whose suggestions for improvement and offers to help are constantly shut down. These instances pile up and situations are witnessed, and when a volunteer or staff member wants to or feels it necessary to speak out, they are forced to weigh the real possibility of losing their job, be it paid or volunteer. They are then faced with losing their source of income, or for volunteers, losing their access to the animals they love and want to help. They wrestle with this, and 99 times out of 100 choose to do nothing due to fear of retaliation. In closing, this is clearly illegal, and more importantly, it gets in the way of progress. I bring this to your attention today in the hopes that you can help us get on with the work of saving all healthy and treatable companion animals in Contra Costa County. Thank you.
Thank you, and we will ask our county administrator to look into that. This is the first I'm hearing of any type of that. I know there are always two sides to every story, so we want to gather all of the facts, and as we move forward, we will address whenever there has been a problem.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That is